From the John DeVita Broadcast Center, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak on the Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network. So sit back and enjoy Paranormal Radio with Mr. Robert Trzeciak. And now here he is, the king of Paranormal Radio, Mr. Bob Trzeciak.
Thank you, John. Thank you. It's nice to be back again after a summer hiatus. Actually, a little longer for the summer. We planned to do a show, I think it was in May we had it set up, and then you were ill or something. I don't know exactly what happened to you, and then we had to cancel that show. We couldn't do it. You called me and said, no, you didn't feel well.
COVID.
Oh, he had COVID? Oh, okay, so he had a little touch of COVID there, and so we canceled, and then June, July, and August. I usually don't do the shows over the summer. If I do a June show, it's like real early on in June. And that was sort of like kind of at the same time there, so we just haven't done show for a while, but now we're going to start doing them again now with the fall, now that the cooler weather has come, and today the cool weather certainly has come. Also, too, I'm no longer the number one king of Paranormal Radio. I have a co-king now, Leland Pierson. He's going to be co-host with me on the show.
Hello.
He's going to co-host. Yeah, there's Leland. Say howdy do.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Okay, that's enough. Anyway. No, he's gonna co-host with me. It was actuality, I was thinking of actually just maybe giving the show up and saying maybe that's enough of it. I've been doing it for a long time, and then I started looking, and I thought, oh, geez, okay, I had this person on, and how many times can I have Tony Sabelski on, and how many times can I get this person back on? How many times could I have that person? I've had pretty much so many people, and we've touched over the years just about every subject imaginable. Bigfoot and UFOs, and I've had UFO people on, and witchcraft, and just everything, all facets of the paranormal we've touched. And I sort of was kind of running out of material. So, maybe the show just kind of ran its gamut. And then I said, well, maybe if we get a co-host or something, because I was talking to some people, and they said, no, you shouldn't give it up. You shouldn't. And I said, well, I don't know. It's just kind of getting stale. And plus, there's so many of them out there now. So many podcasts, everybody's podcasting and all this and everything. And so then I did what was that? What's your show called?
It's called Questioning the Weird.
Questioning the Weird.
Came on and talked about palm reading.
I put down Undiscovered Mysteries, but that's not it.
That's a pretty good name, though, too, I would say.
Well, maybe that's what we'll have to think of that for something. Questioning
the Weird.
The Weird. That's Leland's show. And then I did a show for him, and I thought, maybe I'd ask him if he wants to do it. I don't know if he'd want to do it or not. And so I just kind of asked him. I says, do you think you'd like to co-host? He said, yeah. I said, we do it on Monday nights. Is that okay with you, like once a month? Yeah. So Leland's going to co-host. So that'll bring some new blood into the show, so hopefully that will keep things going for a while. Questioning the Weird. That's Leland's show. Okay, so there we are with that. So that's why we have a co-host with the show now. So Leland's going to be popping back with us every month, hopefully. If his schedule allows.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just to make a few announcements here for some folks, because coming up, we all have so many things going on. God, I was looking at my calendar before I left the house today, and there was like one day, I think it's the 22nd of October, I actually have 4 events on one day. There's no way I'm going to do 4 events. I might sneak 3 in and do one like for an hour or something, but there's just no way, so I said, I don't know. But anyway, these are just some of the things that I've got going on coming up. There are others too, I just did a few here. Coming up next week, September 24th, doing a cemetery tour. That will be with the Justice Library over in Justice there, right across from Resurrection Cemetery there by the Justice Police Station. It's free. Call the Justice Park District, reserve yourself a seat. We have a bus. We're actually doing this. We've been tossing this one around with them for a couple of years, and then finally it got together. And we'll be going to 3 of the cemeteries, and we have a van from the Justice Park District. So we're actually doing it with the Park District and the library together. And that will be September 24th. We're starting at 11 a.m. with that. So that'll be kind of nice. I'm looking forward to doing that because I love doing the tours. Tours are kind of fun to do. October 27th, which is a Thursday, I'm doing the Geneva tour, Haunted Geneva, with the Central Stickney Park District. That one you do pay for. That one, I believe, is $65 or $64 dinners, but you get a real nice dinner. We go out to the mansion. We have a real nice dinner out there in Geneva and that, and we hit a few of the haunted locations, and you get a little time to look around on your own because there's a lot of neat stuff to do there in Geneva. They got a really neat store there that sells all sorts of tarot and occult paraphernalia and all kind of things, and so it's kind of a nice place to visit. So, yeah, we'll be doing that one. Saturday, October 8th, Mr. Jack Chavez, who I think everybody knows who Jack is, because Jack's another one of these people that's all over the place. He's running another Paracon, a Paraconvention, over at the Summit Park District. That will be October 8th. I'm not certain of the times with that, but usually it starts early. I know every one of them that I've gone to.
I think it's 11 to 6.
Oh, is it 11 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because usually when I do it, I'm getting but I'm always early
I think
for
so.
everything
Don't
anyway.
quote me on that.
Yeah, so he'll be doing that one, but he's actually doing it now in a different location. He'll be at the Summit Park District, so he'll be there with them. October 22nd also, too. Moonlight Bean, our wonderful friend who's been on here before, too, Carrie Bean. She's having her annual, what is she calling this? Scarefest. She's doing this, and that will be at 5561 West 127th Street, and she's doing a Halloween Scarefest. That'll be October 22nd. She's having games and raffles, and there'll be a tarot reader there and different things. I might pop by for an hour or two just to show support for the event, because she's actually not too far from where I live, so I can sneak in there for a little bit. Midnight Terror Haunted House. They are opening the 23rd, which is next Friday. They're starting their Halloween season. They always open the weekend, last week in September, and then they go through the first week in November. So they have kind of a long season there with them, and I will be there the whole season with them, doing palm readings with them over in the Midway there. They put on a real good show with their haunt, and also, too, with them. Another thing that kind of materialized this year, too, that I've been working on for a few years with them, and this year it all kind of came together. We're going to be doing tours with them, too. So we're going to be doing bus tours, like a sort of a combination ticket, bus tour, admission to the haunt, kind of a combo thing, and you'll get lunch with that, too, because it'll be like an all-day thing. So that way we stop, you have a lunch break and everything like that. And or you can do like one or the other. I'm not exactly sure how they're setting this up. Go to their page. They'll have everything on there with that. And I know we're doing a few of those. And then the last week after the Halloween season is over, after Halloween, first week in November, they do their clown takeovers. They completely change the whole haunted house atmosphere, and everything goes to haunted clowns and that. So I'm trying to get a tour on that day, too. That'll be November, I think it's 4th and 5th. So on the 5th will be the Saturdays, which is also my birthday. I'd like to do a tour on that day, too, with them. So we'll see how that works. But they got a busy season coming up with them. I'll be there with palm readings with them until 2 o'clock in the morning. We're over there with Midnight Terror. And over at the Bridgeview Park District, the Haunted Kildare Haunted City, with wonderful Kylie McConnell and her brother Tim. They're kind of running that over there, and they did a real good job with it last year. Sorry, I just can't get over there and see it. I would love to go there just to do a run through the haunt with them and check it out with them. But
so I did. Last weekend I was there.
Oh, were you?
Yeah, we did an episode over how haunted houses work.
Oh, okay.
Pretty fun.
I was going to say I didn't know they were open yet. They're not open.
They're not open. I got special permission.
I get it. Okay. Yeah. No, they're great bunch of people.
It was pretty good. It was fun.
Yeah, and I'm sure they put on a good show. I haven't, like you said, I haven't seen it myself, but they will be opening the first weekend in October. They open up a little later after Midnight Terror does. There are, these haunted houses are all over the place, but theirs is a good one, and Midnight Terror is definitely one of the better ones. We're right across from Holy Sepulchre Cemetery, too. Midnight Terror is right by all the cemeteries. They're on 111th Street. Okay, I'm going to be talking at some libraries around all over the place. I got a few of those set up. I got like 3 or 4 of those set up. Whole bunch of palm reading stuff and other stuff too, and so on and on and on and on. But just looking, there'll be so many things going on for the October season for everybody, everywhere. There are so many activities going on now. Halloween has become a big season. Mr. Leland Pierson.
Yes.
Questioning the weird.
We question the weird.
Yeah.
On video, not just radio.
Yeah, he does videos of this, questioning the weird. A couple of weeks back, 3 or 4 weeks ago, came out where I live, and we did a thing there, an episode on palm reading and that. I'm kind of interested. How do we find those when we...
so if you go on YouTube, it's on Questioning the Weird. There's a Facebook somewhere also. And then
so you go Questioning the Weird.
Yep.
Okay.
Then there's also a Twitch stream, which we're not super active on, but we tried to do things. And then TikTok and all that noise.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that one. I'd like to see the haunted house one you did, too.
We got 4 in the can. They should be coming out hopefully next week, as soon as I get time to edit everything.
Hopefully I get the time to watch them. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay, you're going to take over. You know who this guy is.
Somewhat.
You know who that young lady is.
Somewhat. We just met in the front yard.
Oh, really? I thought did you really? I thought you knew each other.
No, we've just been trying to schedule each other.
Oh, I get it. Okay. Well, yeah, he's definitely one you're going to want to get on. You're questioning the weird for sure.
If they'll come on.
Oh, of course they will.
Absolutely.
And Emily is a Wiccan, too.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
Which is good. Since I started doing this show, I've been doing this for like 11 years, Paranormal Radio, and I always wanted to get a Wiccan on. 2 things I wanted. I wanted to get a Catholic priest on, tough to do. Never got one of those on. And I always wanted to get a Wiccan. to come on. And I might have had Wiccans on and didn't know it, but no one told me. And then finally we had Emily on, so it was kind of cool, a while back when she was on the first time. So, okay, you don't know them, you know what he does.
Well, Zach, how about you tell us what you do?
I'm a ghost hunter. I guess that's the simplification of it. I know you've had a lot of ghost hunters on here, obviously. I've been on here before. But yeah, we travel the U.S. and we go to different haunted locations and investigate them for ghosts.
Yeah. I mean, that might sound like an easy thing to do, but let me tell you something. This gentleman here is very active. My gosh, he hits locations, places you don't even know about. He's all over the place. If you want to follow his page, Zak Wenzel, Z-A-K, and then W-E-N-Z-E-L. If you don't get tired just looking at it, because he gets around. He's all over the place. Done a lot of investigations, a lot of stuff, and I'm sure has some pretty good evidence to show for all that work, too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing this for 10 years myself, and then it was just the 7-year anniversary of my group.
Ooh.
So
you've been doing
Congrats.
this for 10 years, and you're 22 years old, so you started doing this when you were 12 years old.
Correct.
Now, how did you do that? You couldn't even drive a car when you're 12 years old. You had somebody chauffeur you around to these locations, or?
My mom is very supportive.
Ah, okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
It always helps when you got people that support what you do. That's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good for you. Yeah, so you got a lot of years into it already, too, for being such a young person in the field. Yeah, so good for you. Yeah.
I've never even gone ghost hunting together. Or
You're
at
gonna
all.
You're going to have to go with
31, and I haven't done it yet.
I've wanted to go with them, but we had a problem. I asked him. I says, I'd like to do some stuff with your group, but I'm too old. I was told I was too old, so.
No one
Wow,
said that.
You're in the hot seat now.
No,
You know what it was? They were looking for people to join the group, but he had an age criteria. You had to be, 20 years old to 35 or something, or
I
what
think
was
it's
it?
35, but you're like 25, so
No, I've passed that plateau a long time ago.
26. We'll go with 26. How about that?
And I thought about it. I said, I wouldn't mind doing a few things with you, but I said, I'm just too old, Yeah. But no, I mean, if you're looking for a group to, there's many groups out there. Like we just mentioned, all these different things and that's we're just scratching the surface of stuff going on for October. This kind of thing, a lot of these go on year round all over, and there are many paranormal groups out there and that. So if you're looking to kind of hook up with the group to get the experience and see how an investigation goes and see how these things work with, start looking for some groups, and maybe Zach is looking for some new members or some of the other groups, whoever, find a spot for yourself, find a little niche there for yourself to kind of get your feet wet on it and see what it's all about. And then maybe, too, you can see if this is something really for you or if it's not. It wouldn't be for everybody. I mean, some people, yeah, it's okay. And some people may just do it once or twice as a curiosity and they say, it's really not for me. Let me move on to, shuffleboard or something else, for a hobby, Yeah.
And we are looking. So
you're looking for some people. Oh, there you go.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you got one sitting right here. That's looking the kind. Well, no, you don't really do. Now you told me something which I thought was really unusual about you.
Oh, yeah. I actually, I don't know if I believe in ghosts. Never
Yeah.
seen one. Grew up in a quote unquote haunted house. Never really had anything going on. Everybody tells me there's stuff going on, but I mean that's kind of half the reason that we started my show was not the ghost hunt so much, but it's like I love ghost stories. So far, everybody I've interviewed in the last year and a half, I don't think anybody's lied to me.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some compelling evidence, but also I'm such a,
You got to be
realist.
there.
Yeah,
You got to be
exactly.
there. Yeah.
I've photoshopped so many silly pictures, like not saying that people are doing that, but it's like it's not that hard.
No, it's not. It's. We all know it's not hard to fake evidence. It's not hard to. But a good group, someone that's legitimate in it, like the gentleman that's sitting right across from me here, Zach. There's absolutely no way they're going to do something like that. Absolutely not. No. But that's an unusual statement. I lived in a haunted house, but yet I'm not sure that I believe in that. Yeah.
I don't know. How about y'all? Both of you could give me your elevator pitch on why I should believe in ghosts, or like definitive proof.
Go ahead. I'll let you go first.
No, why
You go first.
Why are you making me?
Well, I think you just answered that question for yourself. I don't mean to interrupt you, and I'll give you, of course, give you a chance to say what you'd like to. But you said you lived in a haunted house, so right there, you're recognizing that it was a haunted house.
Well, that's what they tell me. The people that own it, my parents.
Well, what about now? While you lived there, you never experienced anything?
No, just like creepy vibes. So that could just be being a little, toasty.
Okay, all right. Now, go ahead, Zach, Emily.
Why you should believe in ghosts? Don't. You'll fall into a wormhole like me. So, no, but I guess
That's an unusual statement coming from a man that's a paranormal investigator.
Well, it's kind of like,
It's 10 years
don't
experience.
become a guitar player because then you're going to spend a lot of money buying guitars and strings and stuff.
That's almost
Very
like the advice
expensive.
that a father would give to their son. Don't follow my footsteps and go into my career. Do something on your own.
Well, okay, so the thing is with like the ghost hunting stuff, I have a hard time believing even some of the stuff that we catch, because if I had to look at it directly from my point of view of things, like our episodes would probably be about 5 minutes, because I feel like when I edit my videos, I have to look at other people's views as well, because people in my group, they're not just coming from my viewpoint, they're coming from different religious standpoints. Like Emily over here, she's a Wiccan, so she sees something that's unusual or strange, and she's looking at it as that's possibly paranormal. And the way I look at it is I believe that is something just to do simply with physics and not just a ghost or a spirit. So I look at it from a science standpoint. She's looking at it from like a spiritualist standpoint, I guess you would call it.
Sometimes I feel like I'm the worst Wiccan to say, like, when I go ghost hunting, because I do believe in the science and the physics, that.
Yeah.
And I also believe for the pitch, the law of conservation of energy, it cannot be created or destroyed. So where does it go? It is still here. You cannot see it, though. It is on another maybe plane or some.
It's not tangible evidence. It's not substantial evidence, but it does exist. It's there.
So it's one of those things where it's like, there is possibly something floating around trying to possibly talk to you, but also it is all up to beliefs as well. That plays a very, very big part into it.
Now, something I found out, which sort of, now there again, a personal experience. Everybody has different experiences with this. But something I found out from doing this for a long time, too, is that I found out that people that usually have the least amount of religious convictions seem to be people that are very open to this. And they may have more experiences with than, say, others. And not just something I found. I'm not saying I'm right about this. It's just my theory. Just an observation that I made with people. Somebody that's not a big, Bible believer, a big churchgoer, a big, that type of thing like that. It seems like they're a little more open to this, and maybe things happen more to them, probably because they have, less religious convictions.
I could definitely see that, and that's honestly where I come from. I stopped believing in God a very long time ago, and I'm sorry. I know you just gave me that look, but I
just thought a couple things to say about that. Okay, go ahead.
So, like, when I stopped believing, I also gained a curiosity in the afterlife, and if it existed, why people hunt ghosts, and why the paranormal or supernatural happens, So I went looking for it to see if it was real, see if things were actually happening. And when I went looking, I found it. Now, I still didn't believe in God after that point, but I have theories about why this happens, and it's all physics, it's all science, nothing to do with like religion and stuff like that. So that's just my opinion.
And down the line, that is one thing that I'm very much hoping for, is that the paranormal field will get to be a recognized science.
Absolutely.
And actually be something recognized by the scientific world. And I always use that cliche, and I've said it. If I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. Chiropractors 30 or 40 years ago were looked on as quack medicine. Now your physician will recommend you go see a chiropractor, so they do recognize it as an actual religion. And I believe this will be the same with the paranormal. Right now, it's a little in the Donald Duck stage, so to speak. But I think down the line to come, I think it's going to be a recognized field, and it will be like parapsychology, is in that. Not to get on the soapbox and start preaching about it, but I think sometimes some of the things that may turn the field back a little bit are what other people are seeing. They see some of the phony evidence or some of the things that are not presented in a good way, and then people look at this, and it's so obvious, and they say, well, now see, look at this. Now look what you guys are presenting. And you're saying this is actual evidence of something like this existing, and how do you expect anyone to believe this, and how do you expect to be recognized as serious when you're putting this kind of... So it does sort of set things back that way. But then there are people that are good at what they do, as you yourself are are very good and very legitimate and very dedicated to the field in that. And those are things I'd like to see more of. And there are a lot of them out there. I mean, there's a lot of very good, dedicated people. There are. I could name, we could all name at least a couple of dozen of them. But then again, we could probably name, 5 or 6 that are need to be maybe under the tombstone, Yeah. But I found that unusual. Now, you don't believe in God.
No, so I haven't believed in God for a very long time. However, I do respect other people's religions.
Yeah.
I like to hear about them, their theories on it,
so what,
learn about it.
So the thing that maybe made you not believe in God is because there's no proof of God's actual existence?
Well, there's that, and just, things that have happened in my life that we don't need to get into and stuff.
Yeah, okay,
so,
yeah. Okay, all right, I get it, yeah. Because I was going to say, if you don't believe in God because you can't really see Him or there's no actual proof of it, that's where faith comes in. It's sort of the same thing with the paranormal. You don't always believe it's there. Like Leland says, he's not really certain about this, that kind of thing, because he's never actually had the definite proof of it or that, But yet you sort of kind of believe it's there,
Yeah, and it's such a tough topic for me to talk about.
Oh, yeah, no.
It's like
we don't
so
want to...
complicated,
Yeah, it can go...
Yeah.
I know.
Because, like I said, I didn't believe in the paranormal when I started looking for it. I had to find it.
It just came to you.
I was looking, and it came to me. The first location I went to was a mental asylum down in Peoria.
That would be a good spot to find things.
Bartonville?
What was it?
Bartonville, Illinois?
It is, yes.
I was just there 3 weeks ago doing an interview.
Were you at the Peoria State Hospital, like the museum?
We didn't go into the museum. We went to the graveyards, the gymnasium, around the grounds. I was with an author that has written a handful of books about the area.
I think it's Sylvia.
Yep. She's a
know
gem.
Her. Yep.
She's
so
that
funny.
place.
I've never met. I know of her, but I've never met her.
Well, she's so kind. But that place is definitely spooky. I'll give you that. We didn't go into the actual hospital, but the vibes of the ground is very...
Yes,
my favorite place. One of my favorites.
100%. That's where I started.
So then there you are. Now, if you're kind of getting some vibes from it and that you're kind of getting that feeling that there is something kind of going on there, wouldn't you sort of take that as maybe like, there is something here, something...
I don't know, but you're also being told ghost stories, and so it's like, I don't know. I watch horror movies, but I don't think Jason Voorhees is running around, I hope.
Yeah. It's, it's a different thing. I mean, the Hollywood image, what you see, and then the actual stuff. And what you said was a real good point before, too, about, like, this being 5 minutes of stuff. And people are looking at this on TV and they're watching an hour show and, this is fantastic. And look what they got in an hour's time. No, that's not an hour's time. That's all, that's a long, long time. And very often for these shows, they're setups. Those are setup things just to enhance the show, Well,
that even like the episodes, like if we do an investigation and get absolutely nothing, I'm still going to post that episode because I want to tell the history of the place as well. Because when I do these investigations, we do these episodes, I don't focus on our group being the main part of it. We're focusing on the building, the history, the stories of people once lived, and the stories that they want to tell that they couldn't tell before. So we focus on the location and the spirits that are there. So, and again, going back to it, like, I look at it from such a science standpoint that if I just put the stuff that I believe is actually possibly something, then it would be like a 5-minute video, regardless of how much stuff we got, because I don't know.
You don't, but you've done many of these investigations, and you know how it goes. You're there sometimes 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever, and you come up nothing. And then maybe another person is there, or you go back another time, and boom, things are real active. Sometimes wrong time, wrong location, wrong person. A lot of times, too, you'll have people in a group, and some people are experiencing something, and other people, nothing. They're not seeing or feeling anything. Right person, right time, wrong time. Doesn't mean that person's going to be it's that way all the time, but it's just maybe just not their time right at that moment, to have something happen,
And I do believe that, like, the environment can change, like,
for
the level of
certain.
activity. So what we do during our investigations is we actually have a document that, like, is like a fill-out document that we write down the date, we write down what the average temperature is for the night, we write down the moon phase, we write down the weather. We literally record
all the details,
all the details.
Keeping good records of everything, because it's interesting to note, because then later on, if something does occur, you say, it's got to be when the moon is in this phase, when the conditions are just right. Yeah.
I don't have the specific. Sorry. I don't have the specific details on my mind right now, but I did actually look into it and like averaged everything out, and I think it's a waxing gibbous or a waxing crescent that we get the most activity during. And you would think it's a full moon.
Yeah, most people do, because there again, it's that Hollywood
yeah,
image.
Right.
Yeah,
So I found out that it's a waxing crescent or waxing gibbous. I can't remember which one it is that we get the most activity with. So very interesting
Yes,
so far.
it is.
Yeah,
good. See, and that's neat that you're keeping records of this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And
now you just get right there. That's a very good piece of valuable information for people to know. To watch out for those phases of the moon. That may be when you get the best results. But then again, it may be that location that's the best time for that phase of the moon.
That's true. It could be that. But I also found out that our investigations have a higher activity rate when it's colder out versus when it's warmer. However, I believe the reasoning behind that is simply because when it's colder out, static electricity is more rampant than when it's warmer out. So the static electricity can add more to the environment.
Makes sense, yeah. But then it's harder to detect cold spots.
Yeah, right.
Because that's everybody's big thing is there's cold spots, But there are also warm spots too.
Yeah.
So you could be cold and then you're feeling something warm. And you say, because people don't, you hear all the time of the cold spots, but people don't know there's warm spots too.
Yeah, during the winter months, I only investigate places with heat.
You have any idea what we're talking about?
A little bit.
Yeah. Most people like that. You could be in a home or you could be in a place where there's something going on, and all of a sudden, just out of the clear blue, you'll feel cold.
I know about the cold spot. I've never heard of it as warm spot.
Spots too. Yeah, same thing. Yeah, like a blast of warm air. You feel that warmth, and it's it's a cold place, or yeah.
Yeah, only
so it kind of works both. Yeah, any swings in temperature are indications that there may be some activity going on.
Yeah, we only invest in the winter months. I asked them. I'm like, hey, do you guys have heat? Because I will not do a cold investigation anymore. I refuse to.
It's too uncomfortable.
No,
for that many. Yeah, for all those hours to be there and that you're freezing cold, you're not
Your
you're not at your
start
yeah,
to
and you're not at your best.
Yeah.
You're not really working
terrible.
at your best. Yeah, you're not when you're comfortable like that. Yeah, that's why I stay away from Bachelor's Grove for the summer months. I do. It's just too full of bugs and too humid and too.
Sucks, yeah.
I do. I don't go anywhere near there. So now for the fall, I'll make my visits over there in the fall and winter season and that. But I don't go there for June, July, August and that. It's just too full of bugs, too marshy over there, and I just get too eaten up. The bugs seem to like me, so no, I stay away from there. Yeah.
You were going to ask something. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you kind of answered it. But basically, so, to circle back, Bob's talking about, being a chiropractor was kind of like a pseudoscience until, obviously, in the world of science, you need to, find your experiment, conduct, and basically try to break it. Well, now it sounds like you have a data-driven idea. Now, do you plan on doing anything with that, or are you just collecting data? Or is this too nerdy of a question?
I don't know yet, but I have the data, so that's what matters, and then I'll figure it out.
I've often asked that question to a lot of paranormal investigators, and myself included. We have this information that something happened here and there, and and then what happens to it? It just goes that far, and that's it. Or you got this great image that you took or whatever like that, and this is like a great piece of paranormal evidence, and that's it.
Yeah, like what do you do with it? Where do you go from there?
What is the holy grail? What is the holy grail of paranormal? The definite proof that this is it right now, hands down, beyond all shadow of a doubt. This is definite proof that there is something there, that the paranormal does exist. For anybody that's even the biggest skeptic will look at this and say, yeah, that is something we have no explanation for.
I feel like that's a tough one because if I caught something on camera, it's like, oh, you CGI'd that, you edited it in Photoshop.
But now it can be detected though. Someone that's an expert in, I don't want to get into a certain photograph, but someone that is, someone that is an expert in photography can look at these things and examine it and tell if this picture has been penciled in or doctored, something's been done with shadowing, something it's Photoshop, that would be the easy one, if it's done in infrared or not in infrared. All these things can be detected.
No, I 100%.
I'm not an expert in photography. I would know some of those things, but I wouldn't be an expert at it. But someone that is could be able to look at this and say, well, no, there are some signs of this being altered.
Yeah, but the problem is you can pay somebody to say oh, that's 100% real, for example, and I'm just going to say it because why not? Ghost Adventures, the first documentary they did, there was a brick thrown at them, and one of their people who was analyzing it said that is 100% a brick being thrown at you. That's not faked or anything.
But it was being thrown by another member of the team.
So it was actually a foam brick. They made it look like a real brick. It was a foam brick, and they had some fishing line, and they pulled it. So
they set the whole thing up.
Yeah, and now they have a TV show, and they're 20+ seasons.
Yeah, and you see, and I'm saying now this is something that you're presenting as evidence to the public. saying, yes, we have definite paranormal. We have this big brick flying through the air. Someone, this brick coming to us, and now you know that it was a foam brick on fishing line that went flying through.
Yeah, but that's what I mean though. Is like you could pay somebody to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
It can be, things can be altered anyway, and you can get people to, testify to it. And that, and here again, to get very redundant on what I've said, thousands of times, is people I tend to take as very, very good, credible witnesses to the paranormal are people that have nothing to lose or gain by telling their stories. What they saw, what they witnessed, what evidence they may have. If it was just something that they eyewitnessed and they're relating the story to you. They're not doing a radio show. They're not doing a Ghost Adventures TV show. They're not doing whatever it may be. They're not promoting a book. They're not promoting in a newspaper, whatever it could be. Nothing that they're promoting. No way are they benefiting from this financially or any other way. They're basically just telling you, yes, this is what I saw, this is what I experienced, and that's that. And those people I tend to take as very good witnesses because they have nothing to lose or gain by giving you their story.
Right.
Just a personal observation from me.
Oh, so I have a random ghost question then, because obviously everybody has a cell phone in their pockets now.
I don't.
Well, besides Bob, the only 26-year-old who does not have a cell phone. But I feel like in the paranormal, there seems to be, I don't know, I feel like there's not any more definitive evidence, even though we're all carrying cell phones, because there's a lot more doctored and fake stuff, obviously. But also, I feel like even the stuff I see, you like, I feel like there should be more. Like, do you have any thoughts on that? Do you think it's like a cell phone versus analog, like back in the day, or is it just that back in the day with analog, you would showcase only the one photo that actually looks good or that you jazzed up?
Like, are you asking like if a cell phone would tamper evidence based on like EMF stuff, or are you asking like if
I just feel like with cell phones being out more, I feel like we would in our normal day to day would have like more EVPs, more photography.
I think what he's getting at is
Get
it's much more easier to get things
So-
now than it was years back. Before you would have had a camera that might have been a cumbersome thing, and it might have been a little harder to catch the image. Now you can do it real quickly. You can, it's right at your fingertips. Push.
I will be the first to admit, though, even if I'm taking pictures at if I'm on vacation or something, I'm not looking in the background to see if there's some ghoul in the background.
No, yeah.
So I guess that's part of why I'm still I believe in ghosts, but I'm also skeptical about a lot of things. But I guess that's why I'm still kind of skeptical about things, is because cell phones exist. Does it seem like there's the same amount of ghost photos, or to me it just seems like there's the same amount, even though that technology has advanced so much. And I was actually having a conversation about this with someone. So ghost hunters like to use these Panasonic recorders. And they are the worst thing to be ever invented, because they are the worst quality recorders you can ever buy, is these Panasonic recorders. But ghost hunters love them because they provide false positives. And I tell people all the time, no, buy a Zoom, buy something else, because those recorders, they're going to give you false positives. And they're like, well, the big guys use them. They use these recorders. Yeah, the big guys are also getting paid, like on TV, to get evidence and post stuff. So, yeah.
So the Panasonic is the one that's a little easier to.
You're talking about Panasonic
we
audio
got some
recorders,
noises,
right?
We got some noises here. We got some voices here and that. It's going to come up more on that. The recording is not that clear as it is on other devices.
Yeah, if you listen to like a recording just like with no ghost evidence at all, somebody talking, you will hear how crunchy and how bad the audio is on there.
I guess to back you up, I work in audio outside of this. I didn't even know Panasonic even made audio recorders. I don't use those. I use Tascams and.
What about Memorex? Is it live or is it Memorex?
Oh, I don't know. I use a Zoom mic. That's just what I prefer. So.
Yeah, interesting. It's very interesting that you said that about talking with other and the evidence being out there. I don't know if you knew Stan Soho. He just passed away a couple of weeks ago. Stan was in the paranormal for many, many years, was with the Ghost Research Society, and then sort of retired from it and then kind of wanted to get back into it. Matter of fact, I think I suggested his name to you one time, too, about maybe doing some things with your group. But anyway, he passed away a couple of weeks ago, and I can remember one time him and I having a real long conversation about this. And I said, Stan, for all the years that we've been doing this, and for all the years that so many have been doing this, why is there so little good evidence? With so many people out there doing it, why is there just so little evidence? And neither one of us had the answer for it.
I think it comes into play also who can be the most convincing. And it can be the game of who can convince who. And it's like who doesn't want to be like, look, like if someone can convince someone else that your evidence isn't good enough. Like,
Which is
you're
why the
gonna look
paranormal
like
is
the
very
fool.
competitive.
So exactly.
Why it's a very, very, very competitive and it's a very cutthroaty field.
And
it should not be competitive.
shouldn't.
We
No,
should all be able to collab on this.
Thank you. That's what I agree. I said people should be able to, but it's like, oh no, we're looking for something and we want to be the first to have it, and we're, this is it. And okay, what is it going to bring you? Is it going to bring you $1 million or what? What are you going to get out of this?
And that's the thing, though.
Why are you safeguarding this?
Some people are looking for fame and fortune.
Yes.
TV show.
Yeah. And there's nothing. I mean, if that's your motive, there's nothing wrong with that. And if it does come to you, that's great. It's fantastic. If you're the person that it does come to, and that and some people it just kind of falls to sort of accidentally. It kind of comes that way. But I don't know. Everybody has their different motives for doing it. Yeah.
I mean, if I could have my investigations and trips paid for, by all means.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you got to get somebody. You got to get somebody to sponsor your group.
Yeah.
You got to get a sponsor, just like you get a sponsor for a baseball team or something.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get a sponsor for the group.
We got to get the Ricketts on your Ghost channel then.
The Ricketts?
They own the Cubs.
Yeah.
Oh.
What? Ghost people aren't into baseball? What the heck?
There was just an article in the Sun-Times today, not so much about ghost hunting and but all about psychics and mediums and all this, and how all of a sudden now, and it was a big, lengthy article by this one woman. It was obviously, I don't know how she got into that article, but for some reason they did this big article on her and how she's a psychic and a medium and a palm reader and a tarot reader, and she does all this, and it gave all her prices and everything. She does the whole combination package for $125, and she does this for $40, and she does that for this. And she said all of a sudden it's becoming real popular, and people are looking into us. A lot. They're doing this now, and I think it always was popular, but I think now people are looking for answers, and they're looking through something else. Maybe they're not finding the answers through God or through religion, the answers they were looking for the meaning of life or whatever it is, so they're looking to something else or to someone else. Hopefully that someone or something else that they're looking for is a good person and can give them the right stuff, because there again, we all know there are many not so good people doing that too, so you got to be a little careful with all that stuff, but there was a pretty lengthy article in the Sun-Times about that today.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of psychics. I'll say it. You come after me. I don't care.
Yeah.
Would you bring a psychic on an investigation, or have you?
I have not yet. I want to. I'm not a huge person on psychics either. Like, there are certain people. Like, I trust Bob 100%. The palm readings that you do are incredible.
Well, thank you for the compliment, but I would be the wrong person. And a psychic would be the wrong person. What you would need to be a medium. You need a medium.
Well, I feel like that's a blanket
medium.
term.
A good medium. A good medium, yeah. A medium now, definition of a medium, and somebody, correct me if I'm wrong on this, is someone that can actually communicate with the spirit world.
Like a clairvoyant.
Yes,
clairvoyant.
Right. I don't claim to have a mediumship.
Okay.
I'm not a medium. I've had experiences with some of that, but I don't claim to be able to do it on command. Now, there are people that I've worked with, that I've gone with on investigations, and they can pick up. Let me tell you, they are much better than any electronic device you could ever have. I'm seeing something over here, and there's this, and they're getting a name, and they're getting much clearer and much more information, and you can piece the story together much more clearer than I could from getting a lot of ooh.
I don't know. I feel like that's more suspect than getting the ooh
I agree. I'm a Wiccan, and I even agree with that.
I can read some history book and tell you everything about this house and how Gary Johnson built it.
Now,
right?
maybe you didn't hear what I said at the beginning when I said this, and I didn't stress that enough. A good medium. Now, there are people, now trust me, I've worked with very, very good ones that are very good. Mm-hmm. And some of these people don't even know how good they are because they do it so well, it's just like a natural thing for them. And then there are some mediums that are sort of so-so. And then there are some people out there that are just not mediums at all. They just don't have the gift for it at all, and they think they really are.
I think you'll bump into that more than you will a good...
Another thing I got into trouble with a couple of weeks back about this statement that I made, and it's a personal observation, and I believe it to be true, is I don't believe a mediumship is something that can be taught to you. I think you have the gift for it, or you don't. Or maybe you have a little bit of the gift and someone can maybe steer you into the right direction with it and maybe guide you to get it maybe a little stronger. But I think you have to have it. I don't think you can go take classes and you can do this and they're going to say, yeah, we're going to teach you to be medium. I'm going to teach you how to communicate with the spirits from beyond. I just don't think.
I agree with that.
I think you have to have that gift for it.
100%.
Do you think that like if they do have it, or like if they practice to bring it out,
That's what I said.
Okay,
I said if you
so
have a little bit of it or something, and then somebody else helps you maybe develop it a little stronger in that, you can develop it that way. But I think you have to have something there.
You have to have
with.
at least a little something in
Yeah.
you.
And there are some people that just don't have it at all, and they're being led to believe that they can get this. You can go to school and you can learn this.
If I did bring a medium with us, I would not tell them where they're going at all.
No, definitely not.
I don't want to tell them where we're going.
No.
I mean, I already do that because we do mystery investigations.
Yeah.
We just did one. She didn't know where it's at. The other crew member didn't know where it's at.
Yeah.
I don't tell them. So I could just do the same thing with them.
Meet me at my house and we'll take you there.
Yep.
That's the best way to do
100%.
it, cold turkey. Yeah.
Yeah.
All beyond, because they can always research it and they can fake, the information.
Yeah.
However, there's a good deal of information they would not know that no one would know about that location. They may not know a certain name of a certain person. They may not know a certain event that happened there. They may, some things they will know that, somebody did kill themselves here or somebody got shot here or something like that. But there are other things that you wouldn't know. And the medium a lot of times the medium can tell you this, and later on you can go back and you can research this and say, yeah, there is something, 2 and 2 is kind of making 4 here.
Right.
It
would have to be somewhere that, the history is pretty solid on. The history is 100% known. What has happened here, it's documented, known. So that way they can't just start making up stuff and it's well, I guess that's possible.
Yeah.
Right, if we went to an asylum, it'd be like I guess that could have happened here for sure, but then if you went to a mansion that's historical whatever, that would be something that would be perfect because that's all documented.
Yeah.
So
I feel like if you were to do that, to test somebody who is clairvoyant, I feel like you would have to find a small town that you could have records, but they're tangible. It's not like you can go online and Google it, because regardless, I mean, if the information's there, then they could find it. If you're going to try to put this person under, critical.
Yeah, actually, I have a couple in
scrutiny.
mind. So,
a couple of mediums.
No, a couple of locations that would be perfect for it. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
You heard it here. We need a medium now. Come on to
there are
these
some good
places.
ones. Trust me, there are some very good ones out there. There are some good ones, and then, like I say, there are some so-so ones that are okay, And then there's some that are just really not mediums at all. They're really not, And somehow somebody somewhere, or they themselves, led themselves to believe that they are, and they're really not. No, I've had some experiences with that myself, but I don't claim to be a medium. I don't claim to have any kind of special powers or anything like that. No, I don't. No. No, I'm not the Wizard of Oz. No. No, and to do that is something I think you have to have the gift for, And that got me into trouble a couple of weeks ago because I said that statement, and the person corrected me on that and said, well, I don't want to get into that. But anyway, yeah, I don't want to throw more wood into the fire. But anyway, I got in trouble with that because I was being very honest about it, and I don't like to deceive people in any way in anything I do. I don't like to do that. If I'm going to do this and lie to people and cheat people and cheat the public and that to make a few dollars for myself, I need to do something else.
If it's your opinion, then
I'm doing.
Yeah,
I need to do something else. Yeah, I don't need to do this. No, I feel that way with anything I do. If I'm doing it for the financial gain of it or that, I'm doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And I don't like people that do that for that. I don't. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with making money, of course. Like you said, it'd be nice if somebody paid for our investigations.
100%.
Of course.
Yeah.
But that's not, it shouldn't be your sole motive for doing it. It really shouldn't. No.
And reaction is everything, too. If someone gets defensive, if you give your own opinion, it's usually someone deep down knows.
Well, deep down inside, they know you're on to them, and you're blowing their cover.
Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of what it comes down
exactly.
to. I've had a few people. All the years I've been doing this, as many guests and as many people that we've had come through here and that, there's not anybody here that I would say I don't want to see that person, I don't want that person on there. But I've had a few fakes on here, and one that I had on, I really called out for being that way. On the air, I let the person have it, and did it, and it can lead to some trouble, but I don't think there's any lawsuits or anything coming from it because if my feeling is if what you're saying is true.
You can back it up.
How can you argue with the truth? You
Right.
can't.
Exactly.
Yeah. And if the person's admitting it to themselves, well, okay, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't like people that do that kind of thing. I don't like people that are cheating the public or deceiving the public in any kind of way. Be that through phony paranormal evidence, through phony psychic readings, through whatever it may be, whatever. Yeah, a phony mediumship, whatever it may be. I just don't like people that do that.
Mm-hmm.
Harry Houdini offered many, many years ago, I think $25,000 or some such of a prize to anybody that could come up with definite proof of the hereafter. And I believe that money is still probably floating out there around in some account somewhere because all these years no one's ever done it.
He's my role model. I did magic for a very long time. And quit, but
we need to get a deck of cards right now.
I'll do a magic trick right now.
Close-up magic.
He's nifty with the deck.
Harry
I'm pretty
Houdini
good.
was a little more than magic.
Yeah, no, Harry Houdini. That I looked up to him a lot. I mean,
think Harry
obviously
Houdini
I
had
wasn't
the
alive,
secret
but
of dematerialization. I think he did. I think he could actually make his body appear and reappear somewhere else. I don't know how he did it. Maybe through time warp or time travel or something. But there was more to Harry Houdini than just being an illusionist or a magician.
100%.
Or an escape artist.
Yeah. No, he was incredible between the magic and the debunking that he was doing.
Oh yeah.
Good.
And of course he lived in the heyday, which now we're coming into another heyday of it too, because it's becoming real popular again. But he used to do this, and a lot of times he would go incognito in that. And one very high-priced, very prominent psychic, they went for a seance and it was to contact his mother after his mother passed away. And supposedly this person made connection and made communication with his mother and held a lengthy conversation, was talking to Harry, was talking to his wife Bess and everything and all that. And he just kind of went along with the whole thing. And then when it was all done and everything, he says, that was all really good and you knew a lot of information and all that, but there's one thing where I've got you on. He said, my mother never spoke any language but Hungarian. Why were you speaking in English? Oh, the psychic didn't mean to be. In the spirit world, they all speak in English. So I just thought that it was real interesting that this person know what the language of choice is in the next world, yeah. But he says his mother never spoke anything other than Hungarian, but she's speaking now in English, through you. So a little questionable,
So with psychics and stuff going on, like ghost hunts, that people will say that will help out more. What's the pros of bringing a Wiccan onto a ghost hunt? Or is there a pro? Or
I mean, I don't really incorporate my Wiccanism.
I think you just happen to be a Wiccan that's going on the investigation.
This is all just
it's not like,
it's not like I'm going in there and doing rituals because also,
But why not? If it's going to stir up something, right?
I mean, there's places that don't like provoking. There's also places that don't like using Ouija boards and seances. There's places that do encourage it, that want you to use Ouija boards and do seances. Like a lot of places say don't sage the house kind of deal. Like I also believe like with the crystals thing with protection, I don't even bring any on me. Like I know a lot of Wiccans like look at me like I'm crazy when I say that I don't.
Well,
but
that could actually interfere with some communication. If you're going to get communications, it could actually interfere and actually be a negative thing. As well as acting provoking questions. I've never gone on an investigation where I've asked a provoking question. And if this is a person you're trying to communicate with, I would think you want on a civil conversation and to be on friendly basis with them.
Exactly.
This entity. So,
Yeah, so
again, a personal observation,
I do provoke depending.
If the place allows.
If the place allows and
how do you know that it allows it?
They'll
tell you. There's like a set of rules usually.
What? You guys can't see my face. I'm in
this
shock.
This is the whole new paranormal. Years past, people would we want to come in, we want to investigate. Yeah, go ahead and investigate it. Now they charge fees for this. Now we have waivers. We have all this. It's become different. Yeah, it's different now.
Yeah,
wait, hold on, pump the brakes. Wait, if you're paying, so I get paying for a place to go into because taxes and upkeep.
Oh, you didn't know that, did you?
I've recently learned this, which shocks me. But so if you pay, let's say, show how much I'm out of it, it's $200 and you rent like a hospital or whatever. Then they hand you a waiver. Obviously, it says you don't sue us because like asbestos. And then the other one is like you're not allowed to do this ghost hunting wise. Is that what you're saying, or am I misunderstanding?
That's 100% it.
Why?
Yeah.
Wait, why do they care?
Listen,
how would they? First off, how would they know that you're calling the ghost something terrible?
I mean, if you're filming, then they could see it. And
why would they care?
Probably because they don't want it to get like malevolent or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
malevolent.
It's
angry.
it's a respect thing too, because like let's say like Penhurst Asylum for example.
Sure.
A lot of people, a major misconception is that Penhurst is like mentally like criminally insane, right? It's mostly children there. So they don't want you going in there, going up to children and being like, hey, F you, stuff like that.
What are some of the other rules? Obviously, you can't swear at kids whether or not they're a ghost or not. But, like...
well, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like they have that. Usually saging is an obvious one because it's like they don't want to lose their profit and their upkeep on it and stuff like that.
So instead of letting these folks go to the spirit world, they're like, all right, keep them here. This is some Ghostbusters 2 thing going on here.
That's actually one of the rules usually. They say no passing on.
Some places say no Ouija boards, surprisingly.
Do me a favor. You find me. Let me go, please. I don't care how much the waiver tells you.
Deal with the consequences.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
Another one is, God, there's so many sometimes. Some of them have, like, some places charge you to film as well. Charge you extra to film.
But, now, by putting all these restrictions on what you can and cannot do, is this not hampering your, what am I trying to say? Is this maybe not setting you back in actually making contact?
For me, no. Sometimes I manage to work around their rules.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't usually use a Ouija board.
I don't either. I'm
not a fan.
Use Ouija at all. I don't even know Ouija.
How did they set the precedents for this? Like, that's my more
past experiences.
But
yeah,
I'm just
now, if you're running this as a business and you're renting this out multiple times to multiple investigative teams, after a while you're going to kind of know what works for you and what doesn't work for you, and you're going to try to want to,
I mean, just as a landlord, I guess, or a business person, you would think, I don't know, you would want them to do those things to kind of, if it gets more bang for your buck, so they keep coming back.
Well, if you're the type of person that's looking for haunts to be on there and that because it's going to enhance your business and it's going to bring money to you and that, yeah, you'd be the person doing that. I've actually been contacted by somebody not all that long ago, and the person said, "Bob, we would like you to create a haunt for us." And at first I thought they were talking about a tour or something. I said, well, okay. And I said, well, what did you have in mind? Well, they had I won't say the name of the establishment. They had an establishment, and they wanted me to go to their establishment and actually say, yes, they have this going on there and they have that going on, and I've experienced this there, and I've seen this happening, and this goes on. And there's no sign of any kind of activity in that building at all. Nothing's going on there. And I says, well, I think you're kind of talking to the wrong person about that. That's not how I operate. I don't like to do those kind of things, and I would never do something like that. I says, you really don't have activity in your building unless somebody there, well, yeah, we think we might. We think they were changing it. We think we might. We think, no. I says, I'm the wrong person for this. You need to find someone else that can, create a haunt for you and bring some ghosts in so it can enhance your establishment, because now having a haunted bar or a pub is big business now. It brings people in, Not my style. No, not for me.
Have you been approached to do that?
Nope, and I won't.
No.
So what else is on this waiver then? So obviously you can't, like, you said you work around, so say obviously you don't work with Ouija boards, but, like, what are your workarounds? You said that you had a few. Not saying that you're bringing in, like, a Ouija board or something like that, some off-brand stuff, but,
I mean, if it says no provoking, I just won't provoke.
Yeah, we just...
I don't know, like, that's, like, the only thing I really have to work around is, like, the provoking and the, like, no certain equipments. If a place charges extra for us to film, I just won't go there.
Yeah, it seems like a red flag.
Yeah, it's.
no.
I mean, because with what I do, it's like it's.
You want it, exactly.
Yeah.
If you're paying that, you'd like to come out with something.
And then it's publicity to that place to make.
That's why I don't understand why they
I don't
charge
get that
extra.
either. I don't
Because it's
get that.
publicity. Because it helps.
Well, you
them.
know what it could be. They're afraid of nothing showing up on too many people, and then they're saying there is nothing here.
That's true. That's true.
If enough teams go in and nothing comes up on their film, they're going to say, "Well, you don't have anything here."
Yeah, there is one place, and I would have paid the extra amount if it wasn't so much. So they already charged $1,600 to investigate it, which it's a massive location.
Don't take a mortgage on the house.
It's a massive location. So I'm like, okay, if we get enough people, we could split it up.
How many weeks are you going to be there? That's a lot of money.
And then to film there, it's an additional $3,500.
Oh, these people are looking for millionaires.
Is there somebody there to help you?
Like film?
Anything?
No.
Because
you only get it for 5 hours.
That's a no for me, dog.
So they're asking like $4,500 for 5 hours.
Yep.
Because I reached out to, I can say it, I don't care. I reached out to the Whole House about doing an interview and an episode there, and like they said that
Whole House downtown, Whole House,
the Adams house.
Yeah, Jane Adams.
They told me I could do it, but since it's technically entertainment, I had to pay like a $4,000 fee, which is understandable because they're treating me like a proper TV production, which that's nothing for production. I don't make any money doing this, so I had to say no.
Thank you. Exactly. I mean, now I'm going to pay you this kind of money. How am I going to recoup this money doing this?
But if I had like ABC or something backing me, that'd be like, oh, okay, here you go.
This is a problem that's happening also with Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
I didn't know you could even go there until recently.
Sure you can.
Really?
When you want to go.
Last time I went there, it was illegal. You had to sneak
Let me know.
there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, when you want to go. As long as the weather got cool now, I can go there. But anyway, that was happening with the tours and stuff like that. And what was doing it actually, or is doing it, is other people in the paranormal. they're jealous of someone else, and they'll look and see, oh, someone's doing a tour. Oh, they got Bachelor's Grove on their tour. And they'll go and they'll notify authorities and everything in that. And they'll say, well, do you have a permit for this? Do you need, you really don't, But there's this little management office, and they will get money for this. They'll get a permit for that. And now, if you want to go in at night, that's a different story. But during the day, and I thought about this. I said, now, okay, you're running a tour. And on your tour, say you have 10 locations. One of the locations happens to be Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. So you're going to 10 different locations, and you're including a lunch on this tour. You're paying a driver, and you're paying a bus fee, and you're paying the tour guide, and all this, et cetera, and you're charging $60 for this tour. How much of that $60 is actually being made off Bachelor's Grove Cemetery with all this figured in when you divide it up? Exactly. So is it worth it for you to pay for a $1,000 fee? It's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Yeah. But it's other people that are doing this. During the day you can go in there and that. And I think with smaller groups, I think they're okay with it too. But like bigger bus groups and bigger nonsense and that, no, they kind of don't like that type of thing. But it's the same thing now with the location. See, it's going on the same way.
I'm just all right, does that cover like insurance or anything like that, or is it just straight up?
No.
It's just...
Oh, it doesn't cover insurance. You're insured through them. If you get hurt in that property, they're insuring you.
So it does include that. At some locations, they separate it in the price. So, like, they'll show it separated. I like it when they just put it together, because then it's like, come on, seriously.
So basically, what you mean when they break it down?
Yeah.
So basically what it comes down to is they're making you pay for your own insurance.
Yeah.
They already have insurance on that building. If they didn't have insurance on that building, they're taking such a risk.
I think it's like a photography insurance. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's like you have a policy, so if you break something of theirs or you break your camera, you have like a policy.
Well, in this case, it would be for injury. You're going to a somewhat decrepit location already,
right,
and somebody tumbles down a staircase and breaks their arm or something like that,
Yeah, because there's one location we're going to next year that charges an additional $250 for the insurance.
There you go. See, they're even pushing the insurance cost on you.
Yeah. It's some of these places are a little ridiculous, but I've been wanting to go here for a while, so I was like, whatever, I'll just eat it up.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I can't believe that they're really going.
What's the location? Are you holding it close to the chest?
I'll tell.
You don't have to do it if you don't want to.
Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. So we're going there next year. It'll be our first one in West Virginia. So
excited.
That sounds cool.
Couldn't find anything Virginia, so you got to go to West Virginia. I think Virginia has pools. Is it Virginia? Maybe it's West. No, it is Virginia. The American vampire, Poole. I think his name is William Poole.
Yep, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
His
tomb. Yeah, next year is going to be crazy for us. We got a lot going on next year. So
you guys are
even
blowing
more.
my mind, though. Not even on ghosts. Nothing about
ghosts. If you're paying money going to all these locations, this is costing you a tremendous amount of money to do.
Well,
yes, it is. Yep.
And then sometimes even in the waivers, they're like, yeah, if you hurt, you fall yourself, you that's on you.
No,
Sorry.
it's not. I hate to tell you, but it's not. They may say that, but it's
they
not.
They freak you out to make you be more careful.
They already have insurance on that establishment, yeah.
It's just ridiculous how they put that in there to scare you to the point where it's just like...
Yeah,
no, that's already underwritten, or they couldn't even open this up to the public if they didn't have insurance on it. If they do, they're taking a big risk, because you can sue anybody for anything nowadays,
I don't even read them anymore.
You don't read them anymore? Oh, I read them front and back.
They're the same thing every time. Every time they're the same thing.
Hey, you never know. Sometimes
somebody's
they add those weird...
something in on you one
exactly.
time.
See, Bob's right.
Somebody's going to slip something in on you, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you can say, well, no, wait a minute.
Well,
we have your signature.
Get the magnifying glass out and the fine
The party
print.
is the first part. The party is the second part.
Exactly.
But was it notarized? No, that's fine.
It doesn't have to be notarized as long as you sign it. Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
You sign it, you're agreeing to it.
Yeah.
That's why you got me, because I read it all, and then I'll tell you if something's...
I read
Notary Republic right there.
There we go.
Yeah, that's her Wiccan skills kicking in. That's what she does. No, I'm kidding.
Are you a notary? Is that what you do?
No.
I mean, anybody can be a notary, Yeah.
No.
No, but...
Do you like this direction that it's going into? I guess this is better than breaking into an abandoned building and rolling the dice so you don't get arrested.
I love paying and being I don't want to say I love paying because it's money, but I like being able to know that we're okay being there, and even if
you're
cops
only on edge because of ghosts, not because of the police.
Yes,
exactly.
Yes, and if the cops do get called, okay, call them. They'll say hi, how are you? How's the activity? Because obviously they've probably been called there many times before and they know the history, so they'll just be chill about it, and then they'll probably yell at whoever that called them, be like, mind your own business.
Everybody, the trend seems to be now some abandoned warehouse, some abandoned building, abandoned hospital, abandoned school, et cetera, down the line, whatever it may be. Someone goes, buys the property, it's haunted.
Yep.
home. They're renting it out to teams.
Casket factory.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Everything's
I don't know.
haunted.
Different trend in things. Yeah. Different way the field's going. There again, it's all about the money when you come down to it.
Yep.
Yeah. When you come down to it, somebody somewhere wants to make money, except the people that are doing the actual work. You do the actual work, you get the evidence, you present the evidence and everything. It brings fame and glory and fortune to them, and you had to pay them to get that evidence. There's something wrong about that whole message. Yeah. I don't know.
It's nice to just know that you're paying and then you're all good there.
I can see like both sides for sure. Like one sounds racket. It sounds like a racket to me on one end, but also like as somebody who has been hassled by the cops in my younger years because you're at somewhere you're not supposed to be. The feeling of secure to go into a place and be like, all right, we're good. Here's the paper. Mm-hmm. Call Ryan who owns the place if you don't believe me.
It's also safer. Like no homeless people.
Yeah,
yes.
That could be too.
Well, which place?
Squatters.
We went to Edinburgh, and they're like, okay, we're partnered with the police. If something does happen, call this number at the sheriff's department, and they will send an officer
You went all the way to
out.
Scotland?
No.
Wow.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's where I went. I was like, and then I'm like, sheriffs. Oh.
No. No, where was
Many
Edinburgh?
haunted castles.
That was in Iowa.
Iowa. We were
Yeah.
in Iowa.
The great island of Iowa.
Yes.
Not a little bitty Iowa, Edinburgh, Iowa. I didn't know there was an Edinburgh, Iowa.
It's Scotch Grove. It's just
Well,
called Edinburgh Manor.
Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah.
I mean, there's a Paris, Texas, but
Yes,
there
there
is
is.
no Eiffel Tower there.
No. There's a Cairo, Illinois.
You can buy a mansion
And
there
there's
for
no
like
pyramid
20
over
grand,
there.
by the way. Just saying.
What, Cairo?
Where in Cairo?
Cairo,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are
yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, because you're way down.
You're,
Yep.
Yeah, and you're still Illinois, but they start talking like that when you go down there.
sounds like home.
Yeah. But it's still Illinois, but yet it is a little southern.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
I do too. I love the South. Yeah.
I love when there's a southern accent in northern Illinois, though.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Where I grew up, hey, how's it going up there in the city? It's like, why are you talking like that?
What happens to me when I go down to New Orleans, I give myself away. I fit in beautifully in New Orleans. I fit in like a local. I'm fine. Nobody bothers me. I dress the part. I fit in fine. I fit in beautifully in New Orleans. Until I open my mouth up, I got that Midwestern accent. They know I'm from Cincinnati or Chicago or something. Yeah, they know right away. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But the thing with New Orleans now, it's a very mixed city, so you do have a lot of people from all over down there and that, so it's a little easier to fit in the things now down there.
That's how I felt when we were in like Rhode Island, Pennsylvania, like that area, Massachusetts. It was so weird. You got to hear
the New England
everything.
accent.
You
Yeah.
got to hear everything.
You don't think
from
of yourself having an
everywhere.
accent until you go to a different part of the country, and then you realize, geez, I sound a little different than these people.
Everyone had a little different.
Well, yeah, we went to a restaurant when we were in Rhode Island.
They even call food by different
Well,
things.
it was funny because there was a party that was there, like a group of people, and literally every person had a different type of accent. It was so funny.
weird.
One of them was like a heavy Boston accent. One of them was like Southern. One of them was like sounded like us
Jersey.
actually. It was so
There
funny.
was a super Jersey one. I loved it. Oh
Have you been to Georgia yet?
no.
Oh, man. When you go to a restaurant, they'll ask you, it's like, all right, I want, like, my burger. It's like, what kind of Coke you want? It's like, what do you mean? We got Sprite, we got Pepsi,
It's all Coke.
It's all Coke. And then popcorn's just corn.
I went to go buy shoes one time, and I asked for a shoehorn. A shoehorn to slip the shoes
Yeah.
on. They looked at me like I had three heads, and I says, "A shoehorn, a shoehorn." What the heck is he talking about? I says, "A shoehorn. You slip your shoe." Oh, you mean a shoe spoon?
What? No. Okay.
A shoe spoon.
I can see that.
They're
but
wrong.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it a
They're
shoe
wrong.
spoon
No,
now.
that's what they
It's
call
just
it.
them being,
Extra.
contrarians. It's
Different foods too, different stuff too. Like a Philly steak. We have a Philly steak here, but in Philly, a Philly steak is a different Philly. It's a different
got
it's
cheese
different,
whiz
yeah, it's a
and all
different.
that.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah. So you may order it and thinking, I'm going to get the same thing I get there, and you get something just like
Yeah.
going to Wisconsin and ordering pizza and see what you get. Next to the
jeez.
pizza you get here.
Yeah, 100%.
we are falling way off track. As we start talking about some haunted sandwiches.
Yeah. Haunted foods. Yeah.
I believe it, though. I
Yeah.
try it.
Oh, speaking of haunted foods, I got you guys haunted foods.
What do you?
Oh, no.
I went shopping today, which I usually do when I do the show. I go to the mall before I get here, and you all get voodoo chips.
What? I'm a co-host, so I probably don't get those.
These are New Orleans kettle-style voodoo chips. Look at that.
Ooh.
Everybody gets voodoo chips.
Well, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, yes. Yum, yum.
Look at that. They were just putting out the Halloween stuff in Target, so they didn't have everything out yet. But I get the voodoo chips, and then I also got a couple of bags of these.
Oh,
The gummy fangs.
wow.
Look at that.
Thank you. Oh, wow.
Thanks.
Now, aren't those ferocious looking?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we're still on.
So funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, maybe it's just me.
No. Maybe you're not talking to... Can you hear me okay? Maybe you're not talking into... Oh, maybe you disconnected yourself.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
That'll happen. I'll roll with it.
Yeah, yeah.
I can still hear it
Well,
all
geez,
fine.
in heaven's name, let's see. We got off the track there with the food we're talking about and that, but yeah, but it's all part of things. You know, this is what I like. That's one thing I do like about this show is it kind of runs where it goes.
Yep.
I don't like a structured thing. I've never done that where I've had questions and I've asked people, well, gee, when did you start becoming a paranormal investigator? Well, what is the best thing you've ever seen? Well, what is this? I like the conversation just kind of go from thing to thing and that and unrehearsed. And I find out that you get a better interview that way, and people seem to be a little more open that way. And you know, you're not just thinking of a structured answer. I like that better. There again, me. That's how I like to conduct it. So, and now we got Leland here co-hosting.
Who does
so,
that exact thing?
So, yeah, do you do the same way? Yeah, yeah.
No, I don't prepare questions, but I definitely try to be like hit some talking points.
Yeah.
But I keep it loose, which kind of bites me in the butt sometimes because then we kind of go off track and then.
Well, like we just did. Yeah.
But the thing is, look, here we got microphones. There, I got a camera. I got to reset.
Yeah.
Like, oh crap.
Yeah. That's a little different doing visuals. Yeah,
It's fun though, but
because you're doing a visual and an audio.
yeah, and then also trying to direct it behind the camera, and sometimes it's just me.
Yeah, yeah. You do it all. He's a very hands-on person and and self-taught too. I didn't know that when he did the thing by me a couple of weeks there, and I said, "Oh, well, did you go to school for this?" No, I just kind of did. I thought maybe he went to Columbia or something to learn how to do
YouTube is your friend.
Oh, you learned from YouTube?
YouTube and just failing.
Oh,
a bunch
boy.
of times.
Yeah, save the money.
Right?
Yeah.
Trust me.
I messed up.
Hands-on experience, doing it hands-on.
Oh,
Sometimes it's the best way to learn.
But I mean, there's pros and cons of going to clients. So I mean, I don't know, because then you kind of learn the technicality, especially in like a ghost hunting environment. Like knowing what a microphone is one thing, but now understanding like how to use it in the field is a different thing. Because these microphones we're speaking in, people might take them out. These are vocal microphones. They're passive. You need power to make them run, whereas some people just buy this kind of microphone.
This is what I'm talking about. When this does eventually become a recognized science, and that will have criteria for certain things about what, you know, how it should be done properly. You know, if you want to go and do something different or that, but this is the way it should be done, you'll have guidelines.
Yeah,
You
well,
know,
it's
so
like
what you're
recording
doing.
music. Like you use this kind of equipment to do this kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but you can play with it and see what you get.
Yeah, and get the better
I can
results
see it
doing
happen.
this, you know. So I think it's going to go in that direction. I may not see it. You guys will see it probably, but I probably won't in my lifetime. But it's going to just take a little while. But then, like I say, I think a lot of what happens is people look at some of the stuff and they say, "Oh, come on, you guys can't take this seriously, can you?" You know, and
Well, if you can't take it serious,
Yeah.
you know what? It's all fun. That's what I
It
say.
is.
It's
You
a
know-
hoot.
But that's what I say. Like if 110% ghosts are proven to not be real, I had a good time. I learned history. I went to historic places, and that's what matters. You know, I made memories.
They're
That's what
real.
matters.
yeah, they're real, no doubt about it. I too many different things, and I'm sure you've had them too. You probably have too. Too many different experiences that I can't just blow off as something coincidental or something I imagined. No, too many things have happened that I can't do that. You know, and I'm sure everybody. You know, I think most people have had some experience with the paranormal. Everybody's had in some one way or another. Sometimes they just don't recognize it. Just like some people may have a gift for a certain being a psychic or being a medium or whatever, and they don't recognize it. They think, "Oh, it's just coincidental that I knew that or that happened." It's really not. Sometimes it's those inner voices talking to you.
Right there, that's the one thing that I will kind of give to maybe being like ghosts being real, especially, is because everybody seems to have a story. Trying to get when I reach out and I do a Halloween kind of ghost to ghost kind of thing where I let people tell me their stories. Easy peasy. People are all like, I got a story.
Oh, sure.
But then whenever I'm trying to find somebody to talk to about seeing a Bigfoot or UFOs or aliens or anything cryptid, they're like, it's a very small pool all of a sudden. And then in that pool, it's even smaller to get somebody who wants to get in front of a camera and talk about it.
Yeah, Bigfoot and UFOs. UFOs may be a little better than Bigfoot, but thus far, just about every Bigfoot evidence that they have has in some way proven to be phony. Just about every single piece of evidence they have of a Sasquatch sighting or some evidence of them, you know, being there, hair. It was actually hair from an ape or something that they had, and they said this was, and they, you know, so it's all been fraud.
And that's why we need to stop looking for Bigfoot and start looking for the ghost of Bigfoot.
Yeah, it could be.
Ghost of
Yeah,
Bigfoot.
Just saying.
Are there? Well, that's I guess I have two questions. Two questions of like my dumbness. One, like obviously you hear about phantom dogs and hellhounds and stuff like that, but you never hear about like a parakeet ghost that I know of. I'm sure there's like a story, but
There's a cat.
There is a cat. There's a ghost cat.
Ohio State Reformatory. They have a cat.
There's a cat that haunts the White House.
Is there?
Is there?
Yeah, and one of the sub basements is a black cat, and he shows up in one of the sub basements in the White House, like where the president goes, down for security and that, when the nation's in time of crisis. Last time he showed up was actually 21 years ago when the 9/11 thing, and the cat shows up down there. It's a black cat.
Oh, that's kind of spooky.
Yeah. Yeah.
ooh.
That's spooky.
I guess so. We have cats. Is there like lizards or stuff like that? They're ghosts too, or is it? We don't.
I don't know.
Or they're not as
It's
cute, so we
exclusive.
don't care.
Yeah.
It's only dogs and cats.
It's exclusive.
It's
I
spooky
think
cats
if
and
somebody,
hellhounds.
I think if somebody sees a lizard, they just say, "Oh, we're seeing a lizard."
Right.
But somebody sees a dog, if somebody sees a lizard walking through their house, it's a little different. Somebody sees a dog walking through their house, okay,
I guess it's because I don't know. Do lizards make noises? Like that's one of the things you got to think
I
about.
think they hiss and stuff, and
Yeah, they
Make
have some
weird- I don't
sounds
know.
to 'em.
Well,
All those
but think about it,
ghosts
like,
hissing is just lizards.
We ever hear about people saying like, "Oh, a ghost hissed at me."
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a lizard.
it could have been a
It's
lizard
just a lizard.
or a snake, or I don't know these things.
Yeah, so I'm saying I don't know.
Asking
I
the
don't,
pros here.
Yeah.
We're making a breakthrough.
Animals,
guys.
animals have that extra sense, that sixth sense, if you want to call it that. They do, and people often tell me that's how. It's really funny. Like when you talk to people and they say they believe they have some paranormal activity, and they start talking about the dog or they start talking about the cat, and I say, "Oh, you better start following the signs." I say, because animals have that extra sense, and they're picking up on that. And they say, they say all of a sudden he's barking at that corner or barking, looking up at the staircase and barking. I said, they're seeing what you're not seeing because they have that extra sense, So there's something there. Yeah.
And then my part two, which I've kind of noticed, because I actually do like watching Ghost Adventures. I know what I'm watching, but it's fun. But I have noticed, though, as a kid, growing up in the 90s, you watch like a ghost investigation thing, and it's always like, even if they're like in Europe or somewhere, it's always in English. I've noticed recently in the last few years, like if they're in like the catacombs of Paris, now all of a sudden in the last few years, they've been actually speaking French on like EVPs or anything like that. Have you ever gotten like any EVPs that's in a different language, or any thoughts on why it traditionally has been English besides it being maybe faked? Like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
like,
I know. I understand what you're saying. I think I've gotten one thing in Spanish, maybe, but I don't know. I've never really like tapped into that, so I've never like gone places. I was going to talk to you about the Chinatown thing. If like they offer investigation somewhere in Chinatown to see if I can get something like that,
yeah.
because she speaks a little bit of Chinese. So
Oh, do you? Very
small
tonal
amount.
language. It's a difficult language to learn. There's a lot of different dialects, so.
But that's like why I wanted to like go to Chinatown and see if maybe like we can get something in Chinese, so that way it's like, we can get that more definitive proof of
Sure.
that.
Mhm.
But otherwise, I don't know. So
Yeah.
I was just curious. I
We
mean,
haven't traveled that far.
yeah.
well, I mean, like, especially
Unfortunately.
Chicago, it's like I feel like you could hear a lot of Polish or like Irish and
Yeah.
stuff and things of that nature.
How do I make a long story short? It's hard for me to do that, but I really can't. But when I was doing this show over at WAG Radio, the show was actually in room 400, which is the only room on the fourth floor. And there's a long staircase that would go up, and you're in room 400. When I went to school there 100 years ago, that was actually my math class was in that room. And then the year I left, in 75, when I graduated, they turned it into radio, which I didn't know they had a radio until 40 years later when I went back there to start doing the show. But anyway, Todd Paulson was the gentleman that ran the station there. He was sitting, on his end doing the controls and everything. Where I sat, I would be facing the doorway where the stairway would be that would go down, that, we would come up, right? And I'm talking and everything, and I'm talking and I'm looking. He was noticing me looking, and he's kind of like giving me this, like, and I said, okay, I got to stop. I got to address this. I said, there's somebody here. There's somebody in the thing. And he says, oh my gosh. Now where he's at, he couldn't see it, but I could see it. And then the man came in and he started talking to me. And he was an older man wearing a dark suit, white shirt, dark tie, and everything. And he's talking to me, and he sounded like he was talking like in Polish or Czech or something. And I says, I can't understand you. I don't know. I can't understand what you're saying like that. I said, I don't know what you're saying to me. And he kind of got mad at me, like, well, you should know this, like, because maybe he knew I was part Polish or something. I don't know. He's like, well, you should know what I'm saying. But then he was speaking to me like in broken English, and he turned out he liked the opera. Because every once in a while I would play music on there, like play like opera from one of the old stars that haunts an opera house or something. Because I've collected these old recordings from people, for many, many years. And he liked that. And I said, oh, okay, fine. And he was just there for a little bit, kind of observed us, and then he just sort of faded away, and off he went, and that was the end of that. And from time to time, I would do that again just to see if that might be something that would bring him back in again or that, but never again. Just that one time. A one-time thing, that was it. The man came in, older man, very definitely could see him, dark suit, dark tie, white shirt, spoke broken English. First he was speaking to me entirely in another language, and I couldn't understand him. Yeah.
I mean, like, when we did go
you
to
don't know what to say to me, do you?
Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
Yeah,
I guess when we go to mental asylums, too, like, some of them, they don't speak English, like, they don't speak anything. They just talking like grunts.
Gibberish.
So I guess it's possible we could have gotten stuff like that, but just not understood what it was saying. Because like for example,
mistaken for just gibberish on the devices.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
some sort of communication.
If we use like a SB7 spirit box or something like that,
that's where the medium would come in.
Yeah,
if you had a good medium there, the medium would be able to detect.
That's true. That's true.
It's true. It is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the medium could differentiate between what's actually coming from someone from beyond or what's actually not legitimate.
Right.
But the shows, just to say something on their behalf, we kind of slammed a few things here tonight and there. But all these, no. But
you blame
all
me.
these, no. Trust me.
It was me too. So
yeah, we all, we all.
We're gonna be banned from the paranormal community.
No. Everyone's opinionated. Everybody's opinionated. Everybody has their opinions and that, and you should respect everyone's opinions and that. There's no right and no wrong about things, and that. I mean, I say things. I'm not the last word, the authority on this. No, you're wrong. Okay. You believe I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, fine. You believe something else. Now I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, if people, these shows, you watch these shows and everything, and it's entertainment. We say, oh, yeah, they pulled a foam brick across on a line, and it's fake and all this and everything. But you know what? The flip side is if people do watch this, and maybe this sparks an interest in the paranormal from them, and maybe it leads them to maybe seek it out a little more and say, is there something to this, or is this nonsense? And maybe they start seeking out some of the truth for themselves, then it's beneficial.
And yes, and that's I had an experience.
And out of 100 people, maybe you'll get 4 people that
is
will happen.
Exactly what Zach told me, like a month ago. That is pretty much almost word for word what he said to me. That is...
Yep.
Yes.
People always steal my material.
That's crazy.
Bob said it first.
Bob did say it first.
But no, I mean, I do like ghost adventures. I do.
Yeah,
I have a hard time believing their credibility.
Anybody that's willing to fight a ghost, I'll watch.
Yeah, right. No, but their editing is good. I like their editing. I like the places they go to.
They're funny.
Yeah, so he sort of has something to offer.
Yes,
They have 30 seasons. They're doing something right.
Just like you said. If it sparks an interest,
exactly,
that's what matters.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever it is, if it sparks a person's interest in maybe pursuing this or something, that's good. Yeah. That's a good thing because you're getting more people interested in the field and more people interested in maybe taking this a little more seriously. So yeah, I'm for it for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen and madam. Thank you for coming back. Always great having you. Come back anytime you'd like to. And you'll
Thank
be
you for
back.
having us.
Yeah, you can't shake me.
No.
I'll be here. Like a ghost haunting a house, I'm always here.
That's the trick. When you invite them in, just like a vampire, when you invite the vampire into your house, that's when they get you.
Bob's never seen me in sunlight. It's only at night.
I know. He might just disintegrate, and be no more, Yeah, when you invite them in, that's when you got problems. As long as you keep them on the doorstep, they're okay.
Too late. I'm in the basement.
Yeah.
In the booth. That's all I got.
Vampire's a whole other story. Whole other thing with vampires. Interesting thing. Talk to a few people that claim to be vampires and stuff like that. Yeah. After a while, you meet many, many people in life, with different varied lives and things like that. Yeah, and it's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing about the vampire legends and the lore and all that goes with it. And some people actually, there are people that do have, it's called Renfield's syndrome, where they actually do believe they are a vampire. But then there's other people that are vampire want-to-bes. They really want to be vampires, and they live that lifestyle and that, but they're really not a vampire. They don't really, they won't disintegrate if they go out in the sunlight, Unless they have Renfield syndrome, I think they do. But anyway, so much for that. Well, I think we're going to wrap this one. Leland, thanks for coming on. Good job co-hosting. Thank you so much. Do you have anything? Give us a plug for your show again there.
I guess so. For Question the Weird, if anybody's interested, we have 4 in the can right now. I just need to edit it. We went to an insane asylum and talked about the history of that. We went to a haunt and learned about how haunts work. Not real ghosts, but the ones that you go to for spooky time. What else did we do? We learned about palm reading with Bob, and he showed me how to do it, and he said some weird things about me. Good weird things. Like, he knew some stuff that I thought was kind of, how did you know that? But
see, there's something to
it. And then I learned about the hauntedness of Lincoln Park with Tony, and that was fun.
Lincoln Park's really haunted. Yeah.
So we got a few other things.
The cemetery, the city's original cemetery, Lincoln Park.
Yeah, he was showing us that, and he showed us where the morgue used to be and all.
Yeah,
It's pretty fun now to look at.
You look at it in a different view.
And then I guess the last plug, I'm still figuring it out, but on when is that conference? I'm so bad.
Oh, the 8th. October 8th. Jack Chavez's conference, yeah.
I will be doing a live show, actually, at that conference. So it's sorting out the details, but I will be in the conference room doing a show.
I will not be at the conference.
Bob will not be part of the live show.
No, I won't be part of the live show. I won't be at the conference. I have too many things going on to do it.
Should be fun, though.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
What do you got going on, Zach?
I'll let her go first.
Oh, okay. So for anybody that doesn't know, I am a professional photographer. I go.
Dark Tricks Photography.
Yes, correct. So I do go on investigations with Blood Moons since I am their head photographer. So I take photos that way, but also I am commissioned out for weddings, portraits, events, anything, concerts, you name it. If you need me, I will take pictures of it.
And they get a hold of you through Dark Tricks Photography.
Yes.
That's Dark Tricks, Trix.
Yes, I have a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, website. Website is pretty much where all my portfolio is besides Facebook. It's darktricksphotography.com. Cool. And then Facebook is Dark Tricks Photography LLC, Instagram Dark Tricks Photography, and yeah. Oh, and I have a Twitter now. That one's a new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just in time.
I don't even know what it is.
I'm really late to that one, but that is it for me.
So our group is Blood Moon Paranormal. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and just pretty much everything. We're on Twitch. We don't use Twitch. We have an investigation episode coming out at Penner's Asylum on September 24th. Another one at the Conjuring House on October 22nd. Whispers Estates, which we just got back from this weekend, on November 17th. And then our Christmas special at the Bell Mansion on December 17th. All of our investigations go on our YouTube channel, but we post our photos that Emily takes on Facebook and Instagram. And then another thing I want to plug real quick is the haunted house that we work for.
Yes.
It's an actual, real, abandoned haunted prison at the old Joliet Haunted Prison.
Oh, yes.
It's one location, but 3 haunted houses inside of the prison.
Yes.
So super cool. Emily and I are working the Q line this year, so super excited about that. So yeah.
So you'd be those ghosts that taunt the people in the queue line, huh?
We'll probably both be in straitjackets, to be honest with you.
Yes.
So it's that big that they have like 3 haunted houses in one?
Yep.
Well, now what do they charge for their admission out there for that big thing?
They haven't announced the price. Well, okay, so during season it changes. So like the closer it gets to Halloween, the
price
more
goes up a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I wish I had time to go around to a few more things, but I can't. I'm just too busy myself. I can't do it. Yeah, because I like to do a few things, and then I've been invited to do a few things, but I can't do them. I have to turn them down because you can't be in 3 places at once. You can't do it, so that's it. But you're all over the place. God, you're really active. All you got to do is look up Blood Moon Paranormal and look at all his stuff on Facebook and everything. He's here, he's there, he's everywhere and all that. So, yeah, they're around all over the place, So if you're looking for a group to try out, maybe, give Zach a call here and he'll do a screening with you. Maybe you can try them out and everything. I can't do it because I'm too old, but
give it a watch too. They're fun to watch.
Yeah, they do some good work out there, so that's good. It's nice to have people that are kind of serious in the business that do some good work in that. Yeah.
They'll go ghost hunting for you, so you don't have to, like me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
You're coming with us.
Yeah,
You're coming with us. Seriously.
Yeah, but not permanently. Maybe just once or twice. We'll see.
We'll see. That's kind of how I do it. I don't really associate myself to any one group in particular. I've done things here or there with some of the groups. I don't think I've ever been banned from any. No, there's one that I don't think I would be.
There's always sign by.
But but that's what I do. I don't like to. And you find out how different people work. Everybody does things a little differently. People do stuff differently. Yeah. Interesting. Emily, thank you. Come back again anytime you'd want.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Zak Wenzel, please come back anytime you'd like to.
Thank you so much.
Best of luck in all that you do. And Leland Pierson, I'll be seeing you again.
Yeah. I'll be
Now
back.
that you're co-host, though, you got to work on some guests soon. Bring some people on.
Oh, I see now what happened here.
I delegate the work. That's how this thing. What do you think? I do this for nothing.
It's like an internship.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be getting his coffee soon.
Did you think I brought you on here because you have a pretty face? Nobody can see you on radio anyway. No, I'm just messing with you. Thank you, everyone. It's always a joy doing these shows. We'll be back on again in October, probably at the very beginning of the month, before things get too busy and I get too tired to do any more. So we'll be doing that. John, thanks so much for allowing me to come and do these shows.
Thanks, John.
Always a pleasure. Everyone enjoy the autumn, enjoy your fall season, and enjoy the wonderful Halloween season coming up for everybody. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye, folks.
You have been listening to Paranormal Radio with Bob Trzeciak from the John DeVita Broadcast Center on Monday, September the 12th, the year 2022. Paranormal Radio is directed by John DeVita, and the executive producer of Windy City Hometown Entertainment Network is Mr. John Shikanda. This broadcast was pre-recorded on Monday, September the 12th, the year 2022. Until next time, friends, please be safe and thanks for listening.